So welcome to Under the Influence.
All right.
Today I am drinking, because you're a bourbon guy.
I am a bourbon guy. That's right.
So I have Madam Bourbon from Restorative Republic. Am I saying it right? Republic Restorative. I have super bad dyslexia. This is a woman-owned,
Yep.
crowd-funded distillery right here in DC.
That's right.
It's amazing. They lasted through COVID, and I hear you're familiar with them.
Yeah, he is a good friend of mine.
The owner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So if you go
drop in there, a big deal.
If you go to republicrestorative.com, you can try their bourbon. They also have a vodka called Fascist Tears. It makes me very happy. I've had this bourbon before. I'm a big fan. And I think you said you've had it too.
I have had, yeah. She gave it to me as a present.
This is a good present because I am a huge fan of it.
Pia, if you're out there, feel free to send more if you want.
More presents. All right. So, Madam Bourbon, check it out. Restorative Republic. No, I'm not getting paid to say that. I think it's an awesome brewery. So, this is Under the Influence, where the influencer sits down with the influential person and talks about everything from person to politics. So, cheers. Salud. Okay, Senator, let me tell you the flow of the program here. So, here's how things go. Look, what I start off doing, the first half of the show, it's all about getting to know you.
Okay.
So, what I tell everybody is, for the first half, we'll take off the senator part, and you're just Ruben.
Got it.
And then the last half, we'll throw the senator thing back on.
Got
and you did earn it.
So once I'm drunk. Got it. Yeah. All right.
The first one to figure out my flight.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
And then we'll talk politics once you're good and
get my lips nice and loose then. Okay.
Yeah, take down the barriers.
Yeah. Right.
So the way we do that, the way we get to know you as well as the way we start drinking is I got some drinking games to play.
Okay.
So the first game,
my staff, will you just text my wife confirmation that I'm actually doing this and I'm not just coming home loaded for no reason?
Yeah.
I thought like, this is work, baby. This is work.
I thought y'all were voting. We did. Yeah. This is called Sip or Spill. First of all, let me say this too. Every episode we had before you has been somebody from the House. You're our first senator.
Okay.
We got a few more on the roster, but you're the first.
Got it.
So I appreciate you being willing to.
Was it sip or was it sip or seal?
Sip or spill.
Spill. Okay.
So how this works is I'm going to ask you a question. You either spill the tea, or you drink.
Got it.
But I'm a big fan of drinking at all times anyway.
I was in a fraternity for 6 years, so just give me a heads up.
All right. Well, this is good then. Question number one: sip or spill? What's your most embarrassing moment?
All right. Long story. But you're a veteran, right?
I'm a veteran. Yes, sir.
So I was on a patrol, and me and my guy, not my sergeant leader, but my gunner, Smith. We come up on a house, kick in the door, full of RPGs, IEDs. It was like a prison. It was like the prisoners. It was like a fucking dynamite camp.
Wow.
Right? So the combat engineers come, and they're like, "Do you want to blow it up?" I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to blow this up. Of course I want to fucking blow this up, right? And have you ever done you've blown up everything with the engineers, the deck blower, and the plunger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they go and they put all the deck core down and everything else like that. And, they lay out the tour. They're like, this is how much time you have, right? So,
right.
Hit the plunger and then come out here. You'll have enough time, jump behind the burn. Everything fucking goes up.
Yep. Right. Correct.
And so Smith is nice enough. He's like, hey, man, you're the one who kicked in the door. You do it. I'm like,
okay.
Okay. I'm like, hey, Smith, but I want you to record me coming out. Right. And so I had this vision in my mind of like, so I'm walking slow, like a fucking cool Marine. I have very little cigarette. I used to smoke. Sorry.
I did.
Yeah. And this is war right now. And so I'm walking. And all of a sudden I see the combat engineers just like fucking losing their minds. They're losing their mind, like, just like, ah. And I finally heard, it jumped. The dead cord jumped.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm not a combat engineer. I'm like, fuck,
right.
That means I have less time.
Yeah.
That thing's about to blow.
Right.
So I fucking start hauling ass to get behind the burn. And I jump behind the burn, and all of a sudden, all the combat engineers are just laughing their ass off. They were just fucking with me.
So I never really jumped.
No, I never really jumped. And the pictures of me, like, hauling ass, like, with, like, the life just leaving my face.
Yeah, right,
I'm about to kill myself for being an idiot.
Trying to be cool.
Kind of go, yeah, that was deleted right away. Yeah.
So you didn't post that on Facebook?
Fuck no. All
right, so we have to find this video. It's somewhere.
It's not.
Nothing's permanently deleted.
This is 2005. This is
We got some clues there. We will find. Listen, you'd be surprised.
Wait, what did I just do? That I didn't. I just actually said something. I did. What did I even say? That's like kind of.
No, but you know what? It's sip and spill.
All right. Gonna be that kind of party. All right.
All right. Number 2. I love asking people this because you really learn something about everybody when you do this. What's your guilty pleasure?
Cigars.
Cigars.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you say that because you mentioned Iraq, or you mentioned combat. When I first went to Iraq is when I started, smoking cigars. I don't now. You mentioned smoking. I used to be a big smoker. Smoke 2 packs a day.
No, when I was racked out, at least two a day.
Dude, I was doing 2 packs a day for too long.
Yeah.
And I finally, October 2016, quit
Good job,
nicotine.
Bro.
Yeah. And so I had to give up cigars too because I know if I put any nicotine,
oh, really?
It'll make me. But I used to love smoking cigars because it's like, I don't know, like this little release.
Yeah.
Like you're chilling for a moment.
It's basically, and like, so it might actually be somewhat like therapeutic or / PTSD, but I do remember one of the funnest things that we did in Iraq was when we got the Cigar Association of America to send us a shitload of cigars, and me and my platoon just like sat out in the balcony and like smoked cigars together. So
where we're at, there was nothing to do.
Yeah, another joke.
There was just one major. I was standing outside smoking a cigar. I'm like, that looks relaxing. He's like, you want a cigar? Fuck yeah, why not?
Yep.
And then that was it. That became like my nightly routine. Smoke a cigar on the back deck. We ended up like 20 people doing it, So
that's great.
But that's not a bad guilty pleasure.
Yeah, no. I have one like once or twice a week. I'll have a cigar.
That's not a bad. Yeah, that's not a bad one. All right, I was reading your bio because I did my research on people, and I saw that when before you went into public service, you said in your bio you had a shit ton of jobs. You didn't word it that way. I worded it that way. But
wouldn't be surprised if I worded that
way. So my question is, what's the worst job you've ever had? And no matter what metrics of worst you use, worst to you.
Yeah. And I don't count the Marines because that war is war.
War.
I gotta tell you, working in a meatpacking factory is probably the worst.
Yeah.
And also because I was working like a really crazy shift. It was like 5 a.m. to like noon or something like that. And so first of all, I'd wake up really, buck crack of dawn, drive there.
Boo already.
Yeah, boo already.
Yeah.
And then so I'm already tired. It's very dangerous work too. And then
meatpacking?
Yeah.
What makes it dangerous?
The cutting, the processing, and you got grinders you're dealing with and stuff like that. Right. Or even just like walking because like there's blood everywhere and like, you could slip and shit like that.
Yeah, right. Anybody ever contract shit from all the blood and stuff?
No, not that I was. No, I don't think so. No,
I don't think fall hazard type.
Yeah, fall hazard. But even like, for example, like, when I was on a line one day and I was just like fucking falling asleep and like, there's grinders right there. You could easily do something. And then the smell of blood, like all the time. I'd come home from work and, my mom would make me take off my clothing in the driveway. Right. And basically because it stinks so much. Yeah. And so
that sounds like a pretty horrible job.
It was a horrible job. I still eat hot dogs and meat products, but still, it was a horrible job.
Did you go through a period where you wouldn't?
No. I've always been a carnivore. Yeah.
I'm like that too. Like I knew a guy. He worked in the tobacco field. I grew up in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
And he worked in the tobacco field. So for that reason, he never smoked a cigarette. But I got like 10 family members that work in the same tobacco field.
They know that's different.
You know what I mean?
Regular soaps.
I used to live in Arizona, by the way.
Where?
In the Army, Fort Huachuca.
Fort Huachuca, yeah.
Intel guy. So I went to AIT.
How long were you in there?
In the Army?
Yeah.
13 years.
And how long were you at Huachuca? When were you in Huachuca?
I was at Huachuca for AIT. Then I was at Huachuca for all of my follow-up training. So like, if you add all that together, probably a total of 2-3 years.
Okay. Yeah. You ever run into a guy named John Rivera?
I know quite a few Riveras.
Okay. He was in your world, and we went to good friend from primary school.
Really?
Yeah.
I might actually know him.
Yeah, now he's like a big high up at the Army. I guess I should figure out what it is. Like really high up enlisted.
In Intel still?
In Intel still.
Oh, that's cool.
He's in Colorado now.
Okay, I might really know him. What is your best job ever? If that was your worst, what's your best?
Ooh, besides the Marines, right? That's the easy one.
Well, you weren't in the Army, but you were Marines.
Well, that's fine. There's why.
Nobody's perfect, sir.
Yeah, right. I mean, I love being a Marine, but that's just like the easy political answer out. And it's easy to say senator, congressman, blah blah blah. Let's not be lame. You know what? I had a short stint working at a public relations firm where, like, this is before I wanted to be, like, wound up in politics. And so I was helping, like, design commercials and, like, PR campaigns. And this is like when Mad Men had, like, just started. I'm like, kind of cool. I wasn't, but it was kind of cool. It kind of, it felt cool. It was kind of cool, kind of working in that world. And it was, it's like something new that I hadn't really done. So it probably was. The second one would be working at a pizza place because I got all the extra pizza.
Dude, I was 16. I'm so glad you said that. I was 16. I just got my driver's license, and I got a job delivering pizza.
Yeah.
And I mean, sue me, but I used to smoke weed. Still do, but back then I did too. And I would deliver
pizza delivery guy smoking weed. Never heard of that. That doesn't happen.
So it was the greatest job ever. I just drive down the road, mind my own business, deliver pizza, pull over, smoke, go back to the fish shop. It was the best job ever. Here's the only downside to that job. I'm not even joking. This is an unknown secret in the pizza delivery world. It may not be now.
But I did a couple of times delivering, so it may not surprise me.
Okay.
The nakedness?
No. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
People do answer the door.
People answer the door naked. If you're a delivery guy, people will, like, and no, not just men, like women, men, and like, just like, they're like, oh, it's like, you're here to deliver my pizza. I'm naked. And they feel like no compunction.
Correct.
And they're not even trying to pick you up or anything. No, there's nothing spicy about it at all. They're just like, I'm naked, therefore I'm not going to bother myself. Give me my pizza.
So this was, I'm trying to think, I can't fucking remember, mid-90s. So this might be different than it is now, but who cares? Delivering pizzas, I did it for about 8 months. I got robbed 5 times.
Oh, yeah, because all the cash tips.
Dude, yes, I got robbed but 3 of the, three of the people that robbed me did it at their house. I delivered the pizza to you. I'm like, okay, you have all my money. Here's the pizza. And I get in the car and I drive it back to because they don't have cell phones. I drive back and I'm like, hey, I got robbed. He said, okay, what was the address? Like big brain move.
This isn't exactly like a mastermind.
No, exactly. They didn't think this shit through. But it didn't deter me from doing the job. I loved the job. But I got fired from it. Ironically, we were getting robbed at the store. Guy came in, had a gun, told us to go in the closet, had our manager and was robbing the store. So me and the other driver we're getting robbed. We're gonna light up. We lit up in the closet.
Right.
And we got fired for that. So that's how I got fired. All right. I'm about to ask you a question that can get you canceled online if you give the wrong answer. So best of luck to you. Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh.
I did not know how serious of a topic this was online.
Well, because, here's the thing.
I answered it one day.
Here's the thing. I want to because I love haunted shit. And I love haunted movies. Like if I'm traveling somewhere and there's like if I could choose between a haunted hotel and a regular hotel, I'll actually choose a haunted hotel.
I'll buy that.
Because I love that shit.
Yeah.
Do I believe in ghosts? I think I could. I think there could be something left over, something up. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm just saying, like, if something traumatizing enough happens somewhere, like why wouldn't that kind of energy be there?
Yeah, like I believe there's like a universal consciousness.
Yeah.
Which, okay, so you're not getting me canceled. Good answer. Because
I've been canceled before. We're good.
Well, this topic came up like last year, and I said, no, I don't believe in ghosts. Oh my God. My whole social media platform lost their mind. What?
Well, but keep doing this. I'll tell you about what I know about UFOs.
Oh, shit. The secret files. Yeah. No, I believe the same thing you do. I believe there's a universal conscious out there. Our spirits can't just go nowhere when we die.
Yeah, there's like good energy.
But do I think that there is like
Casper the Ghost?
Right.
No, I don't think there's Casper the Ghost.
No.
But I think there could be like a place can have really bad. You ever walk into a place like, oh, this has got like bad juju?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that happens. Like bad juju.
Like the Oval Office.
Yeah. And you're gonna get canceled out.
Okay, I just went down Trump.
All
right. Here we go. This is a question. I'm not going to explain it. You just have to answer it to the best of your ability. What color is the number 9?
Blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I've asked 10 people that question. 7 said brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're lame.
So blue.
Yeah, blue.
Then I must ask you,
right? What
color is number 7?
Blue.
Really?
Yeah.
Because everybody says blue for 7, but they say brown for 9.
I'm going to say blue for all the numbers.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'll be right at least on one of them.
Well, it's like for some reason there's this psychology thing that when you say a number, it invokes the color in your brain.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do it again. So give me another number.
All right. I'm going to tell you something that I know the answer people gave me. 5. The number's 5. What color is 5?
Red.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's red. I shit you not. What were you thinking?
Yellow.
Were you really?
I wonder if it's like maybe like it depends like what you were like when you were growing up. Like you know how you had all these little different like game pieces that you would use to remember numbers.
So what happened was a buddy was telling us a story one day, and he was like, dude, I was so lit last night, I could tell you exactly what 9 smelled like, right? And I thought it was funny. And then somebody answered, and he was like, yeah, what color is it? And they were like, brown. That's the answer.
Yeah.
And like 4 of the people in the room were like, yeah, that's right. I'm like, what do y'all mean? So I started asking people, what color's 9?
Right.
Brown. It's crazy as shit. And everybody says red on 5.
It's because we all live
and blue on 7.
This is one big simulation. We're all going through simulation. You know what it is.
All right. So this next game, because I know you were in the Marine Corps, which you've already brought up, I was going to bring it up as look how much I know about you, but you already spilled the tea on that.
And you could always tell Marine, just give him a minute.
Yeah. How do you know somebody's in the Marine Corps? They'll tell you.
They'll tell you, yeah.
I'm going to ask you some things that I've heard about the Marine Corps, and you're going to tell me if they're true.
Got it.
Okay?
All right.
But I'll wait till we get our drinks, because if you get the answer right, I drink. If you get the answer wrong, you drink.
I'm probably going to drink no matter what.
Yeah. All right. So we've heard some rumors about the Marine Corps. I'm going to ask you some, and you tell me, are they fact or cap? Cap is how the kids say lie.
Cap. Yeah. I've heard my friends say. My friends. Okay.
All right. Number 1, you eat crayons.
No, but we taste them.
What? Explain.
You know, it's actually funny. Like, you know, I have a 23-month-old daughter. Once in a while, I look over and she's eating crayons. I'm like, future Marine. You know the crayon MREs now.
I believe it. Yeah, in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, so you'll hear us banter back and forth. He was in the Marines. I was in the Army. Better service. And
Fighting force, real fighting.
And there's just certain stereotypes, and I do not know why. Maybe you know why, but the Marines, everybody says they eat crayons.
I still don't actually know. Actually,
I have no idea fucking why.
I think it's we're supposed to be dumber somehow, which we're not.
Which leads to question number 2. Question number 2 is, I heard you're not as smart as the Air Force.
You know what? I kind of got to agree with that, because like we ended up joining the Marines instead of the Air Force.
I've said it 1,000 times.
Have you seen how the Air Force lives?
Yes.
That is,
dude, it is something different.
When I was in the Okinawa in 2003, we used to go over to Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, to the Air Force Base.
I've been on it.
Yeah, we used to go to their E-Club because it was it's such a better time. Like,
so you were enlisted?
I was enlisted, yeah. But it was like their E-Club, but it had, you know, it was clean, like it didn't smell bad, had girls. I mean, it was
yeah, the Army E-Club was behind a restaurant next to a dumpster.
Right, exactly.
So I was in Korea my first time around, and I've been there a couple of years already because I'm a Korean linguist. So they keep you there. It's like Korea, Iraq, Iraq.
That's the part language.
Right. And so I was there, and then I hadn't had certain American food in a while, and I heard they were opening a Chili's. I'm like, a Chili's in Korea? Where? Oh, that's fucking Air Force Base.
Oh, yeah.
I know, of course they are.
Yeah.
So if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably do Air Force.
Yeah. I probably would do Marines like for one term and then like finish off just do retirement in Air Force. You could retire in the Air Force easily.
Yeah, it's corporate. It's corporate America in a
uniform.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. Number 3. I heard that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere without the Navy.
Yeah. Back in the olden day, yes, but no. Like hey, we love our corpsmen. Those are the doctors that take care of the doctors, become doctors.
Everybody loves
the medics, essentially.
Yeah.
They do our dentistry because you wouldn't trust Marines with dentistry. But you know, we could survive without the Navy, but we need someone to do our paperwork, though. Like they're good at paperwork. They're good at paperwork.
Shots fired, Nate. Yeah, shots fired. I talked to a Marine friend of mine. I said, what's one thing that I should ask Senator Gallego about the Marines, because he's a Marine? He said, you'll know this to be true. Marines always lose the keys to the Humvees.
Yes, and then we make the junior enlisted or the new guy go look for yes.
Or the grid squares.
Oh, the grid squares. Yeah, the grid squares is another one. Or go talk to the pricky five.
Yeah,
find the pricky 5.
That works.
Go find the staff sergeant and ask him if there's a pricky 5 nearby. Yeah.
One time, my best one I ever did. I was a squad leader, And
For those who don't know, this is how we fuck with like you guys.
Humvees don't have keys.
Humvees don't have keys, yeah.
And there's no such thing as grid squares. Well, there are, but
you don't actually pick them up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But anyway, one day I was a squad leader. We have motor pool every Monday. I don't know if the Marines do that. We do motor pool Mondays. And so I don't know. I was like fucking with the new guy. The new guy was really like hard to have. He was a jokey guy.
Yeah.
So I figured he'd probably be fun to fuck with. So I told him, I said, get that plastic bag over there, trash bag, turn the Humvee on, and have somebody else rev the engine while you catch all the exhaust sample in the bag. And as you tie the bag up, take that exhaust sample to the motor sergeant. He goes to the motor sergeant, he goes, oh no. And the motor sergeant played right along without anybody's out on him. He said, no, they take the exhaust sample to that battalion, dude. They sent him all the way across the post with a bag of air. Trying to find somebody to test the exhaust. Marine Corps chow is 5-star dining.
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
What's better, field chow or chow hall chow?
Depends. Like, I mean, field chow training or field chow in the
Good question. Field chow training.
Field chow training, definitely chow full.
Chow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Field chow, downrange because you could buy from the locals. And then you also, like, we used to raid. You remember people used to send us like those big like kits?
Yes.
Like those like when you get all the
care
packages and shit like that. So we used to like go before every patrol and just raid all the care packages and see what we could throw in. And then you'd make like, like whatever, like people would send me like canned chicken. So I'd had canned chicken, and then I'd have some salsa packets in there. And then if I'm out patrolling, I'd buy some of the bread from the Iraqis and make myself like a taco, right? And just warm up the chicken can like under like your mat or something like that.
There's something about like that where you're like in the field, you're sweating, you finally get to sit down, you have this thrown together either MRE or field chow or whatever, and it's just this blissful moment where if I was eating the same exact food in any other environment, it'd be gross.
Yeah, it'd be gross. Yeah.
And it's just but when I go to the chow hall, I turn into like this bougie. I'm Gordon Ramsay. I'm gonna sit down.
We're going to look for the Michelin star.
I need a glass of water, a glass of soda, a glass. All right, Marine Corps coffee is premium blend, best on earth.
No. If you ever need to clear your system, Marine Corps coffee will do it. If you ever need to like degrease an engine block, Marine Corps coffee will do it. This is I'm half
turpentine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm half Colombian, so I love fucking coffee.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And the worst is when you're out in war field,
right?
And so we patrolled a lot and didn't stay at the base as often as I'd wanted. So you'd start the day, you didn't actually have time to make a cup of coffee, right? But I used to just like open up, because all of MREs get like a little coffee packet.
Soldier's pack.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to like open it up and just grab the grains and just like put it here, and like you can like basically walk around like it was dip. It sounds disgusting.
I know people who did that. Yeah. And what I used to do is open up, pour in my mouth, and just swish it with water and just swallow the grind. It just gave me a kick, and I was like, "Oh,
that's such a."
It tastes hard.
Yeah. But then luckily it's like if you came across the Iraqis that had that like really strong chive tea, which kind of that give you a little
also clean the system out.
Clean the system out too. Yes, had the best GI tract for 7 months, man.
All right, listen, in the Marine Corps, corporal is the best rank to have.
I think I enjoy being a lance corporal more than a corporal. Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of the joke, because the corporal, you're like an NCO,
but not really.
The NCO.
It's supposed to be the sergeant is the best rank, but you actually have a lot of like work. You know? Like in a corporal, it's like, you're getting organized with working parties, everything else like that.
But you get shit on by.
Everybody, yeah. And then your own guys give you shit, the guys below you, because you're like, you've forgotten them. Lance corporal, you're not a PFC anymore, but you're also picked up, you have some rank, you have some knowledge of what's going on. Especially on the infantry side, and it's like you're like, it's expected you're supposed to be play the fuck games. People know that you need something done, you get a lance corporal. Need something stolen, you get a lance corporal.
There you go.
That's the person. That's the person.
All right. So next one, and this is going to be the last question for the Marine Corps and the segue to our interview portion of the show here. First, let's go cheers. So this year you got plenty in. Yep. Before we do the interview, here's the question. And I'm dying to hear your answer on this. Everybody believes that all veterans are conservative Republicans.
Oh, that's not true.
Not true at all, right?
Yeah. They're all over the place.
Yeah, right. Thank you. So,
and even the conservative Republicans aren't like linear. Like they'll be conservative in some things, but not conservative in others. And I would say probably my experience, like, they're not Democrats for sure, but they're more independent than anything what I've seen. There's the block of veterans, especially young veterans, are more independent than conservative Republicans. But even like, my guys, like, the guys I'm really, really close to, my company, maybe 50%. I don't even know. I don't think it's even that high.
It's almost like
I think it's a stereotype more than anything else.
it's a stereotype, right? Because like I tell everybody, you have this sample size of America that's going to represent America.
Yeah.
Now, there's more men in
correct.
That will
sway a little,
and because they recruit from
working class,
right? Highly poverty-stricken areas, working class, they end up with conservative ideals, maybe more predominant than a normal sample size.
Yeah.
But like me, like I'm super left. Like I'm more left than the Democratic Party. And I know plenty of veterans that agree with me. Do I think that we're in the majority? No, I don't think.
No.
But I also don't think that everybody's, because the Army or Military Times actually did a study. I think it was right before this most recent election. Well, it was Donald Trump's approval rating in the military, and it was 31%.
That's not good.
Right, and so that's my. I point to people like 31% of the military are clearly for Trump, and the other 69% aren't.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like, my experience, like, with my guys, because, like, I'm by far, like, most of the guys I serve with are these guys are like family to me, right? And we talk all the time. They're like, literally, they come over for family events and stuff like that. I go.
These people you went to war and everything.
Yeah. And we talk politics all the time, and like, what I've seen even recently, some of the Trump supporters from last cycle, like literally have voted for him now, aren't supporting him anymore because of the veteran cuts, because of like the firing of veterans at jobs. They're still Republican because they understand the ideology and believe it, but they're not supporting Trump anymore. So like it's like and they're gonna vote independently. They think independently. They act independently. I think they're not as dogmatic as people think. Veterans, I don't think are as politically, like, big political ideologues as people think they are.
Yeah, and I also think that people that aren't super hardcore alt-right MAGA Trump don't invoke our veteran status to justify our. I think a lot of people that are veterans support Trump are quick to say, well, I serve this country, as if somehow now you're more valid than everybody else. And whereas myself, I had many people talk to me for 2 hours about my belief and not know I'm a veteran. I don't need that to validate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that people that are veterans that support Trump are just more outspoken about they own the flag, we're a patriot, all that.
Right. Well, I mean, we're all patriots.
Correct.
Bingo. And my wife's pregnant, and we're doing I just want to make sure that she's not. She's going to make sure water didn't break. Okay.
How many kids you got?
I have 2, and that third one coming in 8 days. She says, "Come home. I will as soon as I am done drinking bourbon." We're gonna do this. Let's see her reaction. Done drinking.
This is live on camera.
Bourbon.
Senator Gallego is texting his wife right now that we're drinking bourbon. Let's see how she.
Did you send a picture to her so she knows what I'm doing?
Here, tell her.
Well, let's do this. This is my get out of jail free card for now.
Now, if she comes back and says she follows me, I'm going to be.
When she takes back like bullshit, get home.
It's so funny. They did that sit in on the steps of the Capitol recently, and I put a video up at 7 o'clock in the morning on the sit in, and Representative Gil Cisneros, California 31st, he showed up and he came up to me. He said, "You know why I'm here, Jolly?" I said, "No, sir. Why are you here?" He said, "Because my wife woke up this morning and watched your video and said you got to go." Yeah, his wife's a big fan of mine. And then I ran into Senator Blunt Rochester, and her daughter came up to me and she goes, "I'm here, or my mom's here, because I saw your video this morning." Her daughter. So if your wife follows me, it's going to be amazing.
Okay, well, I'll find out right now. Yeah, I know.
All right, so let's do this.
A political question. Hold on. Where's my jacket? I'm going to get serious now.
Let's get serious. Right here.
Right, hold on.
Right here. We're starting over.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So what I like to do is I like to find out, how do we go from, growing up to becoming, in your case, a senator? And while I know your story from your bio, I want to hear it from you.
Sure.
Where'd you grow up? Talk to us about your childhood a little bit.
So I grew up in Chicago, Southside Chicago, and also a suburb near Chicago called Evergreen Park. Originally, my parents are immigrants. Mom's from Colombia, dad's from Mexico.
You're first generation American.
First generation American, born here.
Wow.
We had kind of a very, I would say, traditional immigrant American experience, and then, shit kind of went south. My dad basically started stepping out of my life around 7th, 8th grade. Was stop helping my mom with child support, everything else like that. So we went quickly from being the middle class to poor. And
so basically, like after dad left,
yeah,
kind of made mom a single mom.
Made mom a single mom.
What? How many kids?
Of 4 kids.
4 kids. Okay.
And
you were on that scale.
I was the second oldest, the only male.
Okay.
And so I started stepping up to be a leader in the family. 7th,
8th grade. What are you like? 12, 13 years old?
13.
Wow.
13. Yeah.
So at 13, you're like, dad's gone. Mom needs help.
Yeah.
Got 3 sisters.
Got 3 sisters. Yeah.
Wow.
And so we, we roughed it out though. I slept on a floor.
This is in Chicago still?
In Evergreen Park now. It's the suburb outside of Chicago.
Okay, got it.
I slept on the floor. My sister slept in another room, and was very determined. Like, I need to fucking get out of being poor. And so I studied hard and worked as I told you, all those the jobs I was working was to help out my family.
So what's some jobs? You had the meat packing industry.
Well, I did like side hustles, construction jobs.
Okay.
Also meat packing, pizza place. Worked at a hot dog stand.
And this is all to help mom pay the bills.
All mom helped.
So you're not making money like for you. This is all one to help mom.
Well, yeah, a little. So
Right.
Yeah, but no, it was all to help pay the bills. And then, it's just really focused on figuring out how to get into college, get a scholarship, like get out of this situation because it sucked. It sucks being poor.
Yes.
And so I didn't want my family to do that. And I'm like, I know I can do this. I know I'm smart. I need to figure out how to do this. And so, and I really did believe in this idea, like this is America. If I do everything right, I could do better. And asshole dad didn't help any. He started dealing drugs. Like that's not a good experience to be around, obviously. Nor, obviously people knowing about it. And, I just kept focused and, got into good schools, got into Harvard, got a scholarship.
Harvard.
Yeah. Got into that. Grazie.
What was your major in?
International relations. I wanted to work for the State Department or the FBI or something like that, something cool like that. Yeah, that was my goal in life.
So like, how did we? By the way, that's an impressive story to go from sleeping on the floor with mom and 3 sisters to now I'm at Harvard.
Yeah, my first bed from 6th grade till I went to college was my
no shit.
Yeah, it was my favorite bed. Yeah.
So in high school, what was high school like for you? Like, were you in sports? Were you not in sports? Were you super focused on studies?
I was like, yeah.
You got in Harvard, so you did something right.
So I was a super nerd.
Okay.
Super nerd. But I was like very focused. I'm like, so my freshman year, I'm like, I need to get to college.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to raise. And that means I need to get scholarships. If I need to get scholarships, I need to be like a super A student. I need to get really good grades on the tests, and I need to like be really involved. And so I played sports, but I sucked at sports. But I played it to make sure that at least I wasn't a total fucking weirdo when you actually had to throw a ball, right?
Swear to God, I'm on the football team.
Yeah, not football, do them. And so then I did a bunch of other student activities, student class president, like everything I could, and then just like studied whenever I could for those entrance exams, SATs, ACTs, all that kind of stuff, to make sure I got a really good grade. And, if you talk to somebody in my high school, they would say like I was very focused.
Obviously, paid off.
Yeah. No, I knew.
How'd you go to college on scholarship? I mean, to Harvard on scholarship?
Scholarships, yeah.
Wow.
I had to pay the reason I actually worked at a meat packing factory that summer is the summer before I went to Harvard, is because they make you pay a certain portion, but it's a very small portion.
Uh-huh.
It was like $3,000. So they or
comparatively, that's
exactly. It was so like it was like $3,000 cash and then $2,000 loan, where I think you could have just taken the loan, the whole thing, and like fucking.
Did you go to the Marine Corps before then, or
no? So I go to Harvard, and I get kicked out of Harvard.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and so at that point, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you hear that? In that point, I realized, I've always wanted to be in the military. I always wanted to join the Marines. I was going to do it after college. I was going to do it before college. I was had these stupid bullshit excuses, and maybe I just wasn't mature enough for college. And in some degrees, Harvard's really weird.
Probably pretty fucking tough too.
Very tough, but really weird. Different. It's a different culture.
Yeah,
from
sure.
Poor to really, really rich.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? Harvard's like, you're off. We're kicking you out. Yeah.
What did you get out for?
I mean, ostensibly for grades, but really I was just partying way too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Which is crazy.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Which is crazy to even do that.
I did 1 year of college, then went to the Army.
Yeah.
because I was
So-
partying too much.
So I did it, and then and they say take a year off,
Right.
and then reapply if you want to, or you could go to another school. So then take the year off. So I did basic school of infantry, and I was a mortarman, trained mortarman,
Okay, cool.
and then reapplied, and they let me back in, and so that was a reservist contract, and so that's how it all started.
Oh, that's dope. So you went to the Marine Corps and then went back to Harvard.
Yep.
So you ended up graduating Harvard anyway.
I ended up graduating at Harvard. Yep, got in. They let me in. Here's the Marines are really good. You know, they know how to get you. So my senior spring, I'm like about to register for my classes, and next thing you know, yoink, activated.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, at least they probably paid for your college at that point. Like you probably.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because the back in the day was the old GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
The old Montgomery
GI
Bill. Yeah. It was like that.
I remember when it switched to post 9/11, it was so much.
So much better. But if you're on the Montgomery GI Bill, that was a buddy fucker. That was just not good.
100%. So before going into the Senate,
Yep.
you were in the House.
Yes, right.
So in Arizona's 3rd district, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So so what happened? Like Marine Corps, Harvard, boom, boom, boom. What led you to a life of public service?
Well, I mean, like, you should
Obviously, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Here's digest version.
Well, I mean, kind of like my unit had a rough deployment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I lost my best friend.
You said 2005.
2005.
That was a rough year.
It was a rough year.
Yep.
And so my unit took
Iraq,
Al-Anbar area.
Oh wow, yeah.
By the Syrian border.
Mm.
So we took a lot.
Yep.
I lost a lot of my friends, and so I was really pissed off about the war to begin with. I hated the war when I was there. I hated the war when I got back. Hated the constant they put us in this stupid war.
Yeah, agree.
Because it was a fucking illegal war. But then even to get back worse, to make it worse when I got back, like the VA was like just
correct. Fuck shit show.
Yep. Total shit show. Did not even give a care. And by the way, that's for those that are out there. The VA is much better now. So like, don't listen to what I'm saying. This is
what's saying that. Yeah, I tell everybody the improvement from time period to now.
Night and day. So this is for you to tell you what I was dealing with then, but now what's going on. So please
100%.
go get your services, get your disability rating, everything else like that.
Yes.
But when we got back, like it was bad. Like I went to get, talk to, because I knew I had something going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
And like
relatable.
Yeah. I went to the counselor or I don't even know what it was, but someone in the VA, and they're like, opened up my SRB, service record book. And they're like, yeah, you weren't in combat. I'm like, yes, I was in fucking combat. I'm pretty sure I was there. Like, yeah, your record book doesn't show you have a combat action. I'm like, well, I am gonna get a combat action. Like, I don't know, maybe it hasn't showed up, but like I saw combat, like, and I know I'm feeling something right now.
Yeah.
And they said no. And then I had other friends that had the same fucking experience. And that's when I realized, like, and that's when I started talking to other veterans and then talking to politicians about fixing all these problems. And that's basically what got me. That was my, what do they call it? Like, what
watershed moment.
What radicalized you? Ever heard that one?
Yeah.
That's what radicalized me into politics.
So did you make it your first run or for the House?
Yeah, actually, first time I ran. Well, you know what it was? It's because it was summer. And
so what's unique about summer?
Because it's so fucking hot. I was running against a lot of incumbents, and I was running against people that had like really
didn't want to get on the street.
We didn't go on the street. And it was a small election, though. It wasn't that many voters. It was a couple thousand voters that would make the biggest difference. But it's summer in Phoenix. It's 115, 100.
Yeah, it is. It's Iraq all over again.
Boom, boom, boom. So what do?
Yeah.
I just hydrate. Yeah. I just hydrate every day, every morning, and I would just go hit the door.
Put a goddamn Camelback on.
Yep. I did. 100%. Really? Yeah, 100% I did.
I love that.
I literally outwalked my opponents. And that's essentially what I won. Like the fact that because I was so used to, was not afraid of thinking so much. I was not afraid of the heat. I was not afraid of going door to door.
Sure.
It was probably the thing that probably
that's what people don't realize about elections. A lot of it comes down to putting work in.
Yeah.
Getting your message out,
absolutely
knocking on doors, canvassing. I canvass a lot for people that are running because that's what it's all about. So what made you go from the House to the Senate? Because by the way, let me say this, shout out to Senator Gallego. This is why he's on my top 10 list of senators. He beat out Kerry Lake. You beat out Kerry Lake.
Yeah.
Which fucking hell yeah. So what made you go from House to Senate though?
Well, I love working in the House, but like honestly, like if you're gonna do this job, you got to figure out how to actually get shit done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's at least so much I was getting done in the House, and I felt like
Because you're one of 435.
we won a 435.
Right.
And I really think that like seeing the things that were happening in the Senate, seeing the senator that was there in front of me, and potentially who else was going to run, I'm like, first of all, if I don't run, the Democrats are going to lose. I'll just be honest. I thought I was the only one that could win this race. And number two, even the person that was there who was a Democrat then became independent just wasn't doing the things that I wanted really for Arizona.
So you felt like maybe if you didn't run, Kari Lake wins.
Kari Lake would have absolutely, if I had stayed out of this race and it was like Kyrsten Sinema versus Kari Lake, Kari Lake would have absolutely
and
won.
Sinema, by the way, I mean,
I speak no ill of people that are gone, but
I know, but she did a lot of, not good things for the Democratic Party and as far as getting shit done when you're talking about getting shit done. So, okay. So now you're in the Senate. Let's talk about right now, present day. I know I'm kind of expediting things, so we spend a lot of time talking, and that's my own fault. But obviously being an immigrant, or just want to be a son of immigrants, sorry. I imagine immigration issues are important to you.
Pro-security issues, yeah. Well, into Arizona too, yeah.
Yes, and Arizona especially. Yeah. So I have to believe that, and I'm not trying to make people watching this, you're giving them a softball job. No, I'm not.
No.
I have to believe that you have a good reason why you voted with the Republicans on the Lake and Raleigh Act.
Okay.
Can you explain to us your vote there?
Sure. I mean, like, and I think, one of the things to understand about immigrants and even Latinos and sons of immigrants, like we're the ones that are actually the most usually exposed to all aspects of the border.
And the conversation.
Yeah,
right.
But the all aspects of immigration and border, right?
Yeah, fair.
The upside, the downside, the upside of like, we're the workers, our families were members of workers, but also when it comes to crime, where are some of these criminals that come over, and they're not all of them. I think that's very clear. Right. And immigrants, even so those that come here illegally, largely are very, very, good people just trying to make a living.
100%.
But there are some bad elements to it, and where they do and where they live is in our communities. And so Lake and Raleigh, it's not a bill that answers all the problems, is one solution to go after some of these really, really bad people. The real solution overall, which is what I talk about, I had this immigration plan, is like, let's make it easier to bring people here legally. Let's make people that are here that actually came here illegally but want to stay here, let's give them an opportunity to stay here.
Pathway to citizenship.
Yeah. Pathway for citizenship for some of them, green cards for others, permits to stay for others, giving people the opportunity to like come out of the shadows and really have like an overall because like if not, then in the meantime, some of these like laws, these little laws in between are going to be there, and it is controversial, unfortunately. But the best thing we could do is actually have an overall solution altogether.
So it sounds like to me the Lake and Raleigh Act doesn't exemplify your entire position on
No, absolutely not.
You saw it as a way to...
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, it is one thing that, in terms of, and I think that it's like for me as a Democrat, and like I think other Democrats, like it's okay for us to want border security and enforcement for criminals. But at the same time, we should be compassionate about people that came here that are working, people that have kids, people that are here for humanitarian reasons. Like, let's figure out how to do this while bringing safety and security. It sucks. There's no easy, perfect answer to this at all. And we're gonna piss off people at some point. But the current situation is not great, obviously. And I hope that I can lead the Democrats into a place where we can get a real closing solution to this overall problem.
I think it's great having you as a voice in that conversation, being a son of immigrants, like you said, being more exposed to the problem than the average person. Because I thought there's so many people who have a lot to say about immigrants, but fucking live in Iowa. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
but you'd be surprised. There's a lot of immigrants in Iowa. Like, who do they worse than me paying taxes?
People that are they're still in our jobs. I've never seen a job.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Senator Gallego, we've came to the end of our time. I normally take questions from the audience, but I yapped too much today, so running out.
I apologize. I got to go to dinner with that fat too.
I apologize. So, but I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today, letting us know you a little bit more.
Yeah,
and
please bring me back.
Yeah, and thanks for being here. Cheers.
Salute.
I gotta start saying.
Come on. You lived in Arizona. Salute.
Thank you guys for watching.